What's up, everyone, and welcome back to Raven Invest. This is episode 3 of Budget Flipping on COMC, where I go through the COMC sales data and explain how I use it in my strategy. I figured since the COMC sales data is so cryptic, I would have somebody from COMC come on and explain it to you to help make it more clear. So here we go. What? Did you get all that? If not, you better stay tuned. So now that COMC's explanation is out of the way, let's get into how I interpret the sales data and use it with my strategy. Now, because I'm looking to flip these cards sooner rather than later, I use the sales data to help determine the pace that the card is selling now for previous quarters and for the same quarter in previous years. This will help me determine if the card has a chance to sell within my time frame. If you don't care how long it takes you, or you're willing to hold any length of time to get the profit you want, then you may not find this as helpful as the other episodes in the series. Now let me get this out. This is not a foolproof way to determine when a card will sell. This is taking historical data and current sales rates to determine a very estimated sales time. It's to give you a ballpark of the time it could take to sell this card based on the current pace and previous statistics. So we've all seen this COMC sales history. There are a few main components I look at. First is the sales per quarter. The chart starts at the current quarter and goes back 4 years or to when the first sale was of the card, and whichever is the shortest. In my experience, it usually takes a month or two to see the new sets trickle in on COMC. So I always take the next quarter after the release date and start there. That way you have a better shot at getting some more accurate data as the cards get slowly loaded. Also, it's hard to pinpoint the exact dates the card hit the market because it's all within a 3-month window. So it's easier to start at the next quarter following the release. Next is the amount of the cards have been sent home. I think this is an important figure because this will tell you how many people are paying to bring this card home. If the card has 200 sales and only 50 sent home and 50 available, that means there are 100 cards either sitting in people's inventory not for sale, or there have been a lot of buying and reselling just on COMC, or I guess it could be a combination of both. So to me, that's something important to look at. And last is the max sales amount. As far as I've been able to confirm, this represents the max sale for a card sent home only. This doesn't represent the max sale of a card that was relisted or kept in someone's inventory. Now, some might think that this is useless to know only the high sale for a card sent home, but if you think about it, if someone was willing to pay this price to get the card off the site, this can be a good guideline to know where your resale price lands. Depending on the player and the situation, of course, you can decide if it makes sense to resell for more than that amount. Of course, again, this is just a guideline. If you're sure the player is ascending and their price will go up, you can price above that max sale price. As I said, it's just a guideline. Now, I guess there is another part I look at, but it's like part B of the max sales area, and it's the date of max sale. I can use this later on when reviewing the sales per quarter, so I can correlate that with the quarterly sales amount. Being that COMC breaks down sales by quarters rather than monthly or daily, it can be a little tricky to figure out at first. So I've broken it down and overlaid it over the expected NFL events over the year. So we see here the quarters can be associated with different events during the NFL calendar year. We can then use that to determine what events spike the card sales. Most cards you will see is expected a big spike in the third quarter, which coincides with the start of the NFL season. Now, with this, we can look at previous quarters of the same time frame and compare to the current pace and see where the card stands now. Probably the easiest way is to go through a quick example. And surprise, surprise, the Ravens fan chooses the 2018 Lamar Jackson Donruss rated rookie to review. As again in the other episodes of this series, this is not really about the player, but the strategies and decisions I make based on the situations. So if we pop up the sales chart, it's kind of hard to see without being on the site. So I broke it down and we'll show it a little bit clearer. We are currently in quarter 3. At the time of recording, we are 19 days into quarter 3, and there have been 7 sales of this card. So that puts this quarter sales pace at 1 card for every 2.71 days. So we can estimate about 34 sales on this current pace by the end of the quarter. So with this initial look, tells me that this card has a chance to sell within my 1 quarter timeline. But we are not done looking yet. Keep in mind, since we are so early in the quarter, the pace can change, especially when a particular portion of the quarter is expected to be busier than others. So if we look at the last 2 quarter 3 sales paces, they are both well above the current pace, but we can't really know if the quarter started off the same way but finished strong. We do know that the final 2 months of this quarter are primed to be full of hype-making events. So we can assume July of the previous 2-3 quarters were the slowest of the 3 months as well. Now, if you can easily pair up the sales quarters with the timeline, you can almost walk through a player's timeline and see what events triggered spikes or dips. Another reason why I chose Lamar is I'm a little more familiar with his career timeline. This card started off at a good pace in quarter 4 of 2018 as he was a first-round rookie. As he started playing games later in the season, that began to push up the sales pace. Then in quarter 1 of 2019, the Ravens got bounced from the playoffs, so there was a slow in the pace. Then quarter 3 2019 hits, a sales spike. At that time, Jackson is the unquestioned starter now, and there's a lot of hype surrounding him getting his first shot to lead the team. Now we move on to quarter 4 of 2019. The sales pace stays much the same as quarter 3. Jackson is still lighting up the league on his way to his first MVP. Quarter 1 2020, Ravens get bounced out by the Titans, so sales pace drop. Then he's announced the MVP, and quarter 2 in 2020 sales pick up with the draft and free agent bundled in there as well. Quarter 3 2020, the card hits sales highs almost doubling any previous quarter sales. The hype of the reigning MVP is high and the sales show it. They play well, but the card still slows down in pace in quarter 4 2020 as Lamar's play in 2020 didn't match the hype of the only second unanimous MVP. They get over the playoff hump this time by beating the Titans, as the card keeps similar pace in quarter 1 2021 as in quarter 4 in 2020. But they get bounced the very next week, and from quarter 2 to 2021 until now, the card sale pace has been dropping. By understanding the situation that changed the card sale pace, you can then attempt to predict when the future events will help push the sales pace again, and in turn, determine if that pace fits into your flip time frame. So hopefully everyone found some value in this episode. I will go way further in depth later in the series, as I just want to get out the basics first, then get into the more details. So thank you for joining me. If you enjoy this series, make sure to hit that like button, and if you're not subscribed, now is the time. You get notifications of when my new videos drop, and you can get yourself in my 100 sub giveaway. See in the description for below for the video to enter. I will also place a link at the end of the video. So until next time, everyone stay safe.